Cause we be on a tough love. Oh, we feeling so high. Don't be afraid of falling, falling. Cause you know we gon' fly. Cause we be on a tough love. Oh, we feeling so high. Don't be afraid of falling, falling. Cause you know we gon' fly. Cause we be on a tough love.
Hey. Yes. Yours truly, Coach Rashid. I am here with you today in a different capacity. I'm here as an author, presenter, entrepreneur, but more so, I'm here in the true sense of the coaching and presenting of very, very great educational information. Today, I want to dial it back a little bit, give you a little history on what got me to this point. I'm not going to dwell on it. I'm not going to go deep on it. And most of the time, when I introduce a new program or anybody introduce a new program, then you would normally see them presenting that program in a way that is indicative of this is new. Let me break down, why I'm talking about this topic, just going really deep into that. I'm going to do it on the second episode. The first episode of the personal development. And I'm going to talk about and intertwine that with how personal development is key to financial freedom. And if those that, have not watched me before, to interestingly understand why those two topics are going to be closely intertwined in this conversation. As you know, as an investor into different financial instruments, and I've been doing that for a very long time, I've seen how the nuances of becoming a better person, right, really gives you a better perspective on how you grow your portfolio and how you grow your knowledge in the space of how you're going to, take your journey to that financial freedom. It is not something that happens overnight. It happens over time, right? And that's why you have to really hone in on your personal development and have what I call a leader shift. And that is critical in everything that we do. As a coach, an actual certified coach through the Tony Robbins Strategic Intervention Program, focused on personal development. And I like to talk about positive optimism as well as mindset. These are really key. Mindset produces your skill set. Mindset enhances your skill set. And when we go from Web 2 to Web 3, when we go from Industrial Revolution 2 to 3 to 4, right? That fourth Industrial Revolution is continually getting bigger and bigger. You haven't heard anybody talk about a fifth Industrial Revolution because the fourth Industrial Revolution really is expanding, and so much technology and emerging technologies are happening right now, but they're variations of the ones that came before. So how do you handle that, right? So if you go to one of my actual websites that I do talk about training, I do talk about classes, and I have developed courses on the topic so that you can understand how do you prepare yourself to be more marketable in 2030, right? But you can't just think it's going to happen. I was listening to Andrew Tate the other day. Love him or hate him, the guy's a billionaire because he decided to do things his own way. Most billionaires are doing things their own way, and that's how they get there. or they inherit it, or they get lucky. It's like, but um, like with the Powerball or something crazy like that. But you really can't even put those in a category because you can't learn anything from that. But when you listen to people that actually worked for it and then they had a big break, you can work for 30 years diligently doing all the right things. And financial freedom will just escape you, forever, right? Or you have different levels of financial development, right? You got personal development, you have professional development, and you have financial development, right? And then, of course, eventually have financial freedom if you do things in a certain way. People can work their whole life and they will have financial security, but they'll never reach financial freedom. Two totally different things. Now, they may feel the same to the uninitiated, but they are not the same. Okay. I've been financially secure for the better part of my adult life. Because in my circle, I didn't have a problem with getting whatever I was wanting and making sure that my family around me were taken care of. Right. So that has been something that I understood. But the difference is when you look at people that work at a whole different level, because their level, there's financial security, but then there's financial freedom. Those are two different things. You may not think you want a $200,000 car, but when you sit in it and you criticize the people that own things at that level, $1 million home, $200,000 car, kids go to school $3,000, $4,000 a month. They have a tutor, the whole nine, right? But the difference is when you step into that ring, all of a sudden you're like, I'm not going back. But it doesn't mean that you have to live your life chasing those things. That's not the point. The thing is, what is your potential, and are you striving to expose your potential to the world? Or are you keeping it right here, bottled up, and scared to go outside of that safe space? That's the difference. You have the potential to be a billionaire in a financial sense. You have potential to be a billionaire in a mental sense. You have the potential to be better and better and better, right? If it was on a scale of 1 to 10, you're probably working at 4 maximum. And 4 is work hard, be respectful to your parents, and love thy neighbor, give charity to your favorite charities, take care of your kids, make sure they go to a good school in your neighborhood, not the one that you think is good, but the one that you can afford to send them to. And those are good schools though, right? Because it's not about the school, it's about the teachers. If the teachers want to take care of the children, they will take care of the children. If the teachers in a private school with less eyes on them, they may not have the same agenda as the ones in a public school, right? Totally different, very, very different. But it's about the teachers. So the parents have to engage the teachers, and you figure out, is this public school and these teachers going to take care of your kid throughout their scholastic process? Are they going to get into a college that will give them the opportunity to be a worker for the rest of their life? Or will you teach them to be able to develop their mind with curriculum that's core to the state? Or will you personally develop them with curriculum that's core to them living, reaching their full potential? And this is the key of 8 ways to be 10 times better. So I want to kick this off because we're going to talk about the actual book. I'm not going to sit here and just chit chat with you all day. We're going to start with each chapter, and I'm going to give you an introduction to the book, and then we're going to kick it off. And I want to see if we have any comments or concerns or questions. So, if you have something that you want to drop on me before I start this topic, then hey, go for it. Let me know. If not, then we'll go ahead and kick it off. All right. So without further ado, I want to go ahead and talk about 8 ways to be 10 times better. All right, that's good stuff right there. So check this out. This book, I think it was late 2013. I had this idea um, about about putting together all the things that I learned, and I wanted to put those into uh, really online course. That was my goal. And so my father, he's no longer with us, but he's very inspirational in my writings. He used to write speeches for me, and I used to do speeches and public speaking when I was very young. My dad always wrote my speeches. He was very cool, very crafty. He actually would make them rhyme. It's very, very cool. Um, anyway, that's for another day. But yeah, God rest his soul, man. Just really inspirational. I miss my father really, really a lot because, like I said, he taught me so much, and he was very, very, very. He was right there with me. I used to have this very big notepad, and then evolved into multiple notepads because I would write everywhere. I had an actual coach. Like I said, I studied on Tony Robbins' coaching program, and I hired one of the coaches after I finished the course, and I was able to go ahead and my goal was to write this book. And so me and the coach, every week we got together, and he was very, very, very helpful. The one thing about coaching, and a lot of people may not understand or may not really get into coaching, you may not think that you need somebody to help you, kind of visualize your goals and your future and your next steps. And I'm the same way. I know what I want. I'm going to do what I got to do, and whatever. And it only takes you so far, because what happens, you ever heard the saying that you're too close to it, right? You're so close to it that you can't get out of your own way. And you may wonder why you can't break through, right? Why you can't get to that next level. Why can't you have some success and then it just doesn't work the next level? And a lot of times you just can't see the forest for the trees, right? And we'll talk about that in the book, because you're too close to it. So, but somebody else, that third party, they are very objective. They're not inside. They're on the outside looking in, and so they can see things you can't see, right? It's just like if you don't look in the mirror, then how do you see if everything is where it's supposed to be? How do you know you don't have your what you call that, your sleepy eyes, and maybe you woke up and you had some little spots on your face, but if you don't look in the mirror, you won't see it. But guess what? That third party will see it. So that's a physical example of somebody else can see something you can't see. And so internally, if you don't understand what some of these emotions mean and why you react the way you do and why you can't break through, somebody else can see it because they have the experience. They're a vision assistant, right? And that's what I call it, to see some of those things. So that's what coaches are for. Mentors are different. Mentors do what you do. Mentors know intricately what your objectives are because you're in the same field. If you want to be a lawyer, you get a mentor. The mentor will help you be a lawyer. If you want to be a truck driver, you get a truck driver. They'll help you go up that ladder. But if you want to succeed in all those things and you really don't know somebody that has succeeded in those areas, a coach has been trained in order to help you create your vision, create your goals, create the steps, measure those steps, and then take you to the finish line. Right? So these are the evolutions. And what I've called that is the hero coaching model. High excellence results options is the hero coaching model. Right? So in my days, I taught a workshop in Texarkana, Texas at the library some years ago about how to write a book in 90 days, right? Because that's what I was doing. And we had a few people. We didn't have a lot of people that were interested, but at least it was a good experience though to do that. But this is what we're going to do for these next 8 sessions, right? We're going to talk about 8 ways personal development is key to financial freedom. right? So we're gonna walk through the book. We're gonna take each chapter and we're gonna talk about it. Now we're not gonna read the whole thing. I'm just gonna talk about it, and I'm only gonna do a few minutes. We're not gonna spend all day in here. Um, this is the first episode, and so we did talk a little bit more, but you'll see that when I start reading the book and extrapolating some of the lessons from here, then you'll see that's going to go by very quick. Um, so when you get your copy of the book, right? Then if you spend eight classes and lessons and sessions with me, you'll probably get a copy of the book anyway. Okay, so in here, I first open it up. If you got the book, you should open it up and check it out. So in the first page, I dedicate this to my family, my true friends, and loyal community of supporters. I dedicate this to you, extraordinary you, the reader. This is for you to enjoy, for you to embrace, and gift among those closest to you and everyone you know. And for my dear friends, no longer here. Yes, some people have passed away, and I talk about them in the book. So the back cover shows me and some information there. So you can check it out if you want. This is 8 ways to be 10 times better. New exciting ways to upgrade your personal, professional, and social life. All right, so there it is right there. All right, so let's dive in. What does I talk about here? If you ascend with no goal, GOAL, you will descend with no gold, GOLD. You got to remember that. If you ascend, right? If you start learning, if you start producing more knowledge for your mind, if you start to accept that you have the capacity to expand your knowledge and your information and your understanding of the world around you, then you are ascending in knowledge. So if you ascend with no goal, but you don't know where you're going, you're just taking in knowledge, taking in knowledge, taking in knowledge. Today you're reading about history. Tomorrow you're reading about, starfish. The next day you're reading about, types of dogs. Next day, types of cats. Next day you're talking about, if the sun is revolving around the earth or if the earth is revolving around the sun. You don't know where you're going. You just consuming knowledge. Now, if you're, 1 to 6 years old, that's great. 7 years old, that's great. But by the time you hit 10 to 13 to 15, then you need to figure out what it is that you really want to hone in on. Okay. So if you ascend in knowledge with no goal, GOAL, then you will descend or be knocked down, or you'll be left behind with no gold, GOLD, or nothing tangible. You will have nothing to hold on to. You will represent nothing because you didn't ascend to something. This is the point of, if you ascend with no gold, you will descend with no gold, right? And you will be left out there as if you never started. And nobody wants to do that. So I want you to, this is the message in the book, is to increase your level of knowledge, but apply that knowledge so that you can have something of gold. You know what I mean? All right. So contents, right? So we're going to talk about, there's a personal note that I wrote. It's kind of like a personal, what they call a prelude into the book. And I discussed some things a little more broad, but you'll get the message. Chapter 1 is about breakthrough. Chapter 2, chapter 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And we'll talk about those because I want you to come back next week and we'll talk about chapter 2 and the topic of chapter 2. Today we're talking about chapter 1, breakthrough. So we go to chapter 1, right? And we're going to talk about breakthrough. But for our introduction and then for our actual prelude or a personal note, that gets very interesting. So let's talk about the introduction real quick. It says, how would you like to know that after you finish reading this book, you will have a confirmed clarity of your role, your vision, and your direction in life? Whole purpose, right? Right up front. Tell them what you want them to know, and then tell them what you want them to know, right? It is my pleasure to intrigue your intellect with the following points of discussion. What are we going to talk about in this book? 1, we're going to explore the new motivational industry. And 2, how do I benefit from the evolution of the personal coach to life coach, or vision assistant, as I sometimes call it. 3, what steps do I take to raise my game to the next level? Simple, straight to the point. This is what it's all about, right? 8 ways to be 10 times better. How do I 10x my life? I'm taking you from strategy or concept to tactical applications. You will be introduced to the various power personalities I call advanced logics of the genius blend, right? I call it genius blend now because I saw that somebody else has used the term genius quotient. But in here, I do talk about the genius quotient, right? I show you how you evolve through IQ, EQ, then GQ, which is your genius quotient. But that is an actual thing. I didn't know. We all are created to perform at higher levels, yet unless we set out on the journey of self-discovery, we might not get out of the starting blocks and never close in on the winning line, right? We have to be captivated by the pursuit of high achievement. In our time, the veil of mystery to peak performance has been lifted. There are many in this space of commonly titled motivational speakers, a term in which I do not subscribe. And you may ask why. Well, I would keep going, but the reason why we're having this recorded call is because I want to break down some of the things that I talk about here so that you can fully grasp the essence of it. When I say motivational speaker, and I'm not one of them, so there's one thing called motivation, another thing called inspiration. Okay. Can you be motivated? Sure, you can be motivated. Here's a great example of motivation. If I'm in the water and I have a teacher that's teaching me lessons and we're in the water and he wants me to understand the lesson of motivation. Now, we may not pick out the actual topic. What am I motivated on or to do or what? No, we're not there yet because he's a wise teacher. Then that teacher, let's say that teacher grabs me and pushes my head underwater. And he says, I'll let you up when the time is right. Now, he pushes my head down. Your head is underwater. And after less than a minute, you start to say, oh. Now you're like, oh my gosh, what are you motivated to do? You see what I'm saying? You're not inspired to do anything. You're motivated at this point because all you want to do is what? One thing, breathe, right? So when you take that lesson, this is going a little deeper, but so you're motivated to breathe. You're not motivated to stand up. You're not motivated to learn whatever the lesson is. You're just motivated to breathe because there's nothing else more important right then. Okay. So when you come up out of the water though, because they're not trying to drown you, they're trying to teach you how to be motivated and focus on one thing. Now, the lesson that he's going to teach you, now you're motivated to do that, right? But how do you get motivated to show up for that person? Because you heard that that person was the one that can help you reach whatever focus and goals that you want. So you were inspired by the third party story in order to show up to do what? Get motivated in order to take your life in your own hands so you can excel in your area, your potential, your purpose. That's key. So a motivational speaker is not what I do. And most motivational speakers aren't motivating you to do anything. The action that puts you in a position that you have to make a decision, that's motivating. Somebody kidnaps your family, you're motivated to do anything it takes to get them back. That's a different motivation, right? It's not inspiration, it's motivation, right? So anyway, those are some of the things that I want you to understand while I go through the introduction, because we probably won't get through number one. So what would an appropriate title in this mighty cloud of motivators and gurus and performance and results specialists, who position and package their knowledge. So all of these people that we see in the day and time that I was writing, people were positioning and packaging their knowledge to help others succeed, right? You would have this results coach and this performance coach. And, you got Brandon Bouchard, which is somebody I learned so much from. You got Grant Cardone. You have Tony Robbins. You have so many great ones. Eric Thomas, obviously, what's the, my gosh, I can't even, Steve Harvey, all these people, right? They get you up to activate your emotion, activate your intellect, makes you get up and do something, right? And Eric Thomas is probably the best ones in the world doing that. So the most recent term that I heard was experts. So the term is experts based on the time spent developing who you are and what we know in order to help the greatest number of people. This is great. And there's a great need for guidance and coaching in our time. We already have some of the most effective success agents or success coaches that I've ever seen. Personally, my fit is into the profile of an activator or developer, right? So if you understand the what is the DISC profile, right? And there's sometimes you can get the top 5 profiles, right? And so activator or developer is kind of my space. I know that planning and analysis has its place. Action is what leads to performance. Action leads to performance. Taking action leads to decision. Decisions lead to results. There are creators, experts, and activators on this newly explored platform. I say that and ponder this. With so many people looking for the next step, high level of personal development, success secrets, professional tools, and performance advice, why hasn't anyone taken it to this next level? What level is that? Let me break that down. I'm the first to write about this to this degree, about these principles from this coaching perspective, right? This has set my writing apart from others. We are making history, you and me. Just by writing and reading this book, we are some of the first in contributing to our economy rising in a most natural and logical fashion. We have the opportunity to serve our community by making small shifts in our mind, leaving a lasting impact on the world, right? There's a humanitarian impact to what I do. No worries. I know my words seem rather personal and passionate about our collective mission to bring visibility to the available resources for the next level many seek. My aim in this book is to enlighten you about the power of believing in your creativity and connectivity, to understand the value of working with a life coach and uncovering the awesome achiever within you. People have vast potential. Our industry of experts and activators are producing incredible results, reaching massive numbers of people daily, weekly, through the power of online content, live seminars, and growing field of results coaching. Breakthrough events that I've attended in the past attract an average of 3,000 to 4,000 participants. Now, let's take notice. Dive into the deep end of the pool. Watch this. Let's take notice. Dive into the deep end of the pool, researching the experts or change agents appeal. Our goal, making a difference throughout this year, 1 quarter at a time. 1 quarter at a time, right? So measure your success in yourself, your potential, in your knowledge, in your objectives. Give it 90 days, see what comes of it, right? Every quarter. It's like 90 days, 120 days, whatever a quarter is. All right. So I'm going to hit this real quick. I'm going to hit the personal. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do something different. There's a personal note right here. Okay. Which is another introduction. This one has things in it that I really want to talk about, but I'm going to jump right into chapter 1. And then on our second time together, we're going to talk about the personal note. How about that? Is that okay? We're going to break through. See, this is the beauty of having, going through my own book, and leading this conversation, because I don't have to go in any linear order. I could jump around a little bit. Why not, right? Let's keep it interesting. So let's talk about breakthrough. Chapter 1, breakthrough. Right here it says, if you are serious, you must fully commit. Now, I'm going to tell you, I was studying Eric Thomas, E.T. the Hip Hop Preacher, back in the day. And I was just so excited when I listened to him. I was up, I was inspired, man. I was like, man, I can do anything. Let's go. Like, let's do it. Right. Back in high school, when I was running track and even playing football, I was motivated. I used to look at Rocky. And I'm telling you, before track meets, I look at Rocky 3, 4 in the morning because I was inspired by Rocky. Like, let's go. Right. Um, those are the type of things that move me. So when I wrote this, I had read so much stuff over the years, but I had watched a lot of things too. And I love, that personal development. I love when them lessons come and them nuggets, like they say, them nuggets are dropping. Like, man, this is powerful. Anywhere I hear a good speaker, I'm like, bam. So I always took good notes. So breakthrough. I'm going to read a little bit of breakthrough because we don't have a lot of time. I don't want to go too long. Today we went a little longer because there was a lot of introduction. Next time, 15 minutes, we're going to be moving on, right? But today we're a little longer because I want to give you a taste of what we're going to be doing. And this is really where it begins. Breakthrough, chapter 1. What brought you to your current space you occupy in life today? Was there something that piqued your interest a long time ago and convinced you this is your dream or mission in life? Like, where you are today, is this your dream? Is this your mission? This is what you plan to do with the rest of your life. When you became 40 years old, this is what you were going to do. Look in the mirror. Is this what you were going to do? Or do you aspire to do some other things? Are you with the same person you were interested in back in high school? Are you working the job you were interested in after college or high school or technical school? Did you start this business you were interested in? Ask yourself, are you having the success in life, career, or business that you expected? Why? If you are, why? What did you do? How did you get to that level? How did you get to a point where you're like, this is what I've always wanted to do? I knew it and I'm going to keep doing it. Or why not? If you're not doing what you were interested in back in the day, why not? Ask yourself, why not? Well, let's explore that. Most of us become interested in something we want, yet we walk away before real success ever happens. As Tony Robbins talks about, we are only an arm's length away from that success, but we quit when we're arm's length away. Think about that. We work hard, and we feel like it's never going to happen, and we're only an arm's length away. We're around the corner. We are, coming over the hill, and it's there, but we quit because we've done so much, and we just don't think that we have any more to give, and so we give up, and we're only arm's length away, literally that close, right, to what we want. Most of us become interested in something we want, yet we walk away before real success ever happens. We are not ready to commit to the struggle. I'm telling you, Andrew Tate, he said it so strong. He said, everything is war. Anyway, we'll get into that another time. We're not ready to do what it really takes to reach that level of time and financial freedom. There are always challenges that will meet you on the road to success. The real test is what happens when you're introduced to a bump in the road and you have a sense of surprise, as if it wasn't supposed to happen. Let me let you in on a little secret. The road to success is always under construction. In faith, we say, did you not think that you would be tested when you said you believe? Did you just think that everything was going to be easy after that? Look, I believe in this, this, and this. Now I'm on this faith path and nothing. Oh my gosh, like I'm scooped up and all these crazy things are never going to happen to me. Wrong. This is the journey to the reward, right? There will always be a story before the glory, pain before pleasure. You have to choose if you want it bad enough and willing to put in the work to attain what awaits you on the other side of that discipline. You have to ask yourself, is it worth it? Is it worth it? Because if it's not worth it, you're not going to finish. You're going to start and you're going to quit every time. And you're going to have 50 million things that you tried, but you never accomplished. When you think of it, when you come up with that goal, that end game, when you come up with that destination, what are you going to do? Is it worth it? As I listen to this inspirational talent called Eric Thomas, he reminds me about how we get interested in our desires, yet we don't follow through and never actually get fully committed. This is so true and moved me to think more deeply on this particular issue. I frequently see this in colleges and adult professionals in their office environment. This is something that I was actually reminded of a situation I had when I was in the office working in Texas at a base there, and I had challenges. So this is where this is coming from, by the way. Personal anecdote here. People will ask for a promotion on their job, research what is available to move up, and after getting all the details of the position and how they can do it, they just talk about it because they are interested, yet they rarely do what it takes to create more value for themselves in order to be the most qualified candidate for the position when it comes open. This is what happens all the time. In my job, even when I was in Texas, and I would sit there and listen to somebody ask a question, because most of us were higher grades than a lot of the people there, and they would want to know, how do we get promoted? We explain it to them. I was a coach, so of course I did what I had to do to help them, map out what's your roadmap to this grade, right? To work up the ladder. You've been doing this for what, 20 years and you haven't got promoted. Well, you know what? In my mind, it's not going to happen. But how do we help you? And that's what I did. I literally set aside time to do that. So this is where this paragraph comes from. But therefore, when they find out someone else has been offered the position, they now work overtime to learn how to fight this personnel action. If you only get interested in your career and never commit to being the absolute best at whatever you are doing, bringing more value to yourself, to the people around you, so they can see, hear, and they can experience how good you are, then you will get left behind every time. Don't focus on reacting. Step up and create opportunities for yourself. Simple as that. Don't focus on being pissed off because you didn't get something. Focus on bringing more value, taking action, and actually volunteering the good information, the good actions, the good decisions, the good ideas to the people that you're trying to impress, instead of fighting after the fact as if somebody did you wrong. That is not the case. This is 8 ways personal development is key to your financial freedom. I'm going to stop right there. In next session, we'll pick it up and we'll talk about more of breakthrough, and then we'll get into chapter 2. All right. So this is Coach Rashid, author of 8 Ways to Be 10 Times Better, the book that we're going to discuss. We're going to do about 8 sessions on it, and I'm going to hit something about personal development, and we're going to talk about how that relates to your success in this life and beyond. All right. So I would love to hear what your thoughts are. I hope that you have the book. If you have the book, then you can read along with me, and you can give me some feedback on what we read for each session. All right. So look, I would love for you to like this particular channel, like this particular episode, and every episode for that matter. I would totally appreciate that. It helps to attract more people, and maybe we can help more people if we're able to go ahead and get the likes up, and we go get the subscriptions up and hit the notification bell, all those great things in the YouTube channel. And as long as we're working together, then we can definitely help more people. All right. So like I said, this is taken from the book 8 Ways to Be 10 Times Better. And 8 Ways to Be 10 Times Better is the book that's right there. You can find it on Amazon. You can, contact me, and I can give you the links to the different places that you can actually purchase the book. You see that the link to the online course is right there, centerofelearning.com, and then that'll connect you to all my courses, and then you can go ahead and take the online course and give me some feedback on that. I'm telling you that I really, really had a good time with that. I do need to revisit some of the introductions, and so I'm going to work on that. But the content is there, and there's a free download for the workbook to the online course as well. So you definitely want to take advantage of that. All right. So until next time, we'll meet right here and we'll talk about chapter 2 right after breakthrough. All right. So till then, peace, and I will see you all on the other side.